Okay, it's 3:04. We'll go ahead and get started. I want to thank everybody for attending the CDBG public hearing for a pre-project selection for CDBG public meeting. This meeting will cover the Community Development Block Grant Program. It will cover the purpose of the program, eligible and ineligible applicants, eligible and ineligible activities, and provide local citizens with the opportunity to propose project ideas. And I'm sorry, I'm Lisa Campbell with Stantec. The second item we have on the agenda is the purpose and history of CDBG. We'll go through program objectives, eligible applicants, ineligible applicants, eligible activities, ineligible activities, program requirements. I'll go ahead and get started on the program objectives, which are benefit principally low and moderate income families, aid in the prevention of slum and blight, and meet urgent community development needs where an existing condition poses a threat to the health and welfare of the community and other financial resources are not available. Last year in 2020, $10,583,849.28 was awarded in projects, to projects. Eligible applicants for infrastructure grants, all counties are eligible, incorporated municipalities, and New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority. For planning grants, all counties are eligible, incorporated municipalities, New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority, water associations, sanitation districts, land grants, public nonprofit groups, council of governments, and mutual domestic water consumer associations are eligible to apply for planning grants. Ineligible applicants are Indian pueblos and tribes. They may receive funding directly from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is called HUD. Entitlement cities are not eligible. Those entitlement cities are Albuquerque, Farmington, Las Cruces, Rio Rancho, and Santa Fe. They receive funding directly from HUD. That is why they're ineligible applicants. Eligible activities, there are community infrastructure, which includes water, sewer systems. In sewer systems, it includes storm sewers. There's solid waste disposal systems, street improvements, which include roads, streets, curbs, gutters, sidewalks, traffic control devices, street lighting, parking facilities, municipal utilities. Another eligible activity are public facilities, which include real property acquisition, construction or improvement of structures, such as community centers, senior centers, homeless shelters, domestic violence shelters, substance abuse facilities, non-residential centers for handicapped, such as sheltered workshops, other community facilities designed to provide health, social, recreational, or similar community services for residents. Another activity is for housing. That includes real property acquisition, rehabilitation, clearance provisions of public facilities to increase housing opportunities, code enforcement, historic preservation activities, and housing is a maximum of $65,000 in CDBG funds per home can be used on rehab and repair activities. Also, there's economic development. which assists businesses in creating new jobs for low and moderate income persons. The creation of businesses owned by community residents. Planning grants or grant assistance must be used for a comprehensive plan if there has not been a current or updated plan within the last 5 years. That's for counties and municipalities. Also eligible under planning grants are asset management plans, development of codes and ordinances, feasibility studies such as a preliminary engineering report and environmental report, base mapping, aerial photography, GIS systems, and the planning grant is limited, has limited funds of $50,000 that can be requested. Colonias is another eligible activity. Colonias is the state of New Mexico is obligated to allocate 10% of the total CDBG funding each year to eligible projects and designated Coloniases. To be a designated Colonias, the applicant must be designated Colonia prior to November 1990 and located within 150 miles of the US-Mexico border. Projects must address lack of potable water or inadequate sewage system or lack of decent, safe, and sanitary housing. Ineligible activities consist of construction or rehabilitation of buildings used for the general conduct of government, such as city halls or courthouses. The only exception is to make a public or government operating facility ADA compliant. Additional ineligible activities include general operation and maintenance expenses of public facilities, income maintenance programs, housing allowances, payments, and mortgage subsidies, including but not limited to expenditures for the use of equipment or premise for any political activities. Costs involved in preparing applications and securing funding are not eligible. Program requirements. Applicants must conduct at least one public meeting prior to selecting a project to advise citizens of estimated CDBG funds available, types of projects available, obtain recommendation from citizens regarding community development and housing needs. A minimum of 3 meetings is recommended. This is the third meeting of 4. We will have another meeting this evening at 6 o'clock. Citizen participation must be encouraged with emphasis on low and moderate income persons by publishing meeting notices in English and Spanish and using other means such as media or posting flyers in an effort to reach the public. Recommendations from the public are to be considered and the project selected at an official meeting of the governing body. Each CDBG application must address at least one of the 3 national objectives: benefit to low and moderate income persons, prevention of slum and blight, urgent or life-threatening community development needs. The application requirements: all applicants must include a full or phased scope of work to include corresponding budgets. All requests are limited to a maximum of $500,000 without certified cost estimates and $750,000 with certified cost estimates from an engineer. Projects, both full and phased, must be fully functional on a standalone basis once awarded funds and have been expended. Projects must be completed within a 24-month of a fully executed grant agreement. Previous unfunded CDBG application must be updated and resubmitted if the applicant, after conducting the required public hearings, determined that the project is still viable and a priority for the community. Rural communities must provide a minimum of a 5% cash match. A rural community is considered a municipality that has 3,000 residents or less, and counties that are 25,000 residents or less. Non-rural communities must provide a 10% cash match, which has municipalities with more than 3,000 residents and counties that have more than 25,000 residents would be required to provide a 10% match. Applications are scored by rating certain criteria such as description and need, benefit to low and moderate income persons, leveraging, citizen participation, planning, feasibility and readiness, user fees and revenues, and cost benefit. The Community Development Council, which is the CDC, will take into consideration current economic situations if the entity was funded last year and at application presentations. Objective of this meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to gather information from the local community about potential project ideas. Community members must keep in mind the perimeter of the CDBG program in terms of eligibility and other required elements. At this time, neither the city nor city council have determined a project to pursue. We will now discuss some of the current and/or previous CDBG projects that have impacted our community, and then we will take questions from the audience as well as receive input for potential project ideas. Past CDBG projects that the city of Las Vegas has done was in 2013, there was a senior center project that was done. Then in 2010, street and drainage improvements to Peterson Pump Back. Ideas for projects, for potential project ideas. The city on their ICIP, they have roadway improvements, which would be Hot Springs Boulevard from Mills Avenue to Valencia Street and Legion Drive from Grand Avenue to 7th Street. Those are potential project ideas that are already on the ICIP for the city. Now we will go to any questions or citizen input that anybody would like to provide. Please unmute yourself and provide any comments.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So does the city have a facilities master plan?
Maria or Danny, do you know if the city has a facilities master plan?
I don't know if we have the facility master plan, but we do have a master plan.
So each department does have their own master plans. So there is a plan for roadways. There is a plan for water treatment. There is a plan for wastewater. So each one of the different divisions or departments does have their own 40-year or master plan.
The reason I was just asking, because sometimes we can look at what was written in the facility master plan. I work for a school district and we have a 5-year facility master plan. So based on the needs as to what the city had written, okay, and that's how we would determine, well, let's say we want to apply for this grant and this is what was written on year 3 or year 4. That's what I was getting at, so.
Yeah, so we do have that, but we also have multiple funding sources. So a lot of our other master plans, such as for water and wastewater, are handled under other funding sources. And this one is really a chance for the public to point out some of their concerns they see as critical needs. That it may be on the master plan, it may not be on the master plan, but CDBG really wants to get input from the local community.
And I do agree with the streets. I see even, what is it, is it the one that's parallel to Hot Springs? North Gonzales. If I tried going through that street, I think I travel like maybe 5 miles an hour because of all the potholes, okay? And it's right on the intersection of Valencia and North Gonzales. I mean, right there, now you're going 1 mile an hour because of, and it's probably because of the way the river, I don't know, the way the water runs downhill. But I think that would be a good place to start to target is the streets, because that's where you do get the most complaints. I know that. Like I said, I work for the school district, And I'm not sure if we're even just fill in all the potholes here, on Moreno, which is behind, let's say, all the vendors here, which is Quartz and Rialto and all, right behind there, there's some really big holes there too, So we try on our end too to see if, patchwork is what we're doing, but that would be one good topic. I don't know if you guys want more than one to start with, with streets. I don't know what other, I think where I'm talking about, that's a good place to start.
So any potential projects you think are welcome, and we can list them here for the city council when the projects are presented to the council. You mentioned Valencia and Gonzalez. Is that what it was?
Yes, ma'am. It's right by, well, gosh, that used to be the flower park back in the day when I was in high school, but it's that corner where Pro Glow, where it was it's that little intersection where Gill's Lock and Key used to be. I mean, I've been here my whole life, so that's what I'm referring to, buildings that probably don't even exist anymore. But it's that intersection right there. Or even just from the plaza down to, from the plaza, behind the plaza, and that's Valencia. That is Valencia. That area right there it's hard to drive through. You just have to go, drive with caution, But, and I'm sure there's plenty more. And it's not like here. If you go somewhere else, Santa Fe, I went to Santa Fe the other day and I thought, oh my God, their streets are almost as bad as ours. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this is just a statewide thing, but I do know, I shouldn't say statewide because I think I was in Hobbs the other day, and in Hobbs, they didn't have any potholes. But then again, they don't get any rain.
Yeah. That's, the other street you listed was Moreno. Is that another one that you wanted to put in there as a project?
On Moreno?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to advocate for what I see. This is, and I see this every day work, because I work here, but, I could also advocate for where I live. I live up in the El Creston Circle, but, I would, like I said, I have just those couple of, that's a whole circle. There's 100 homes up there. And there is a few potholes up there as well. Even down, I don't know if that's Rincon. So now those are pretty big as well. And that's by the Senior Citizen Center. Okay. So if you go down the Creston Circle and you go down through Montezuma, and then I think it turns into a Rincon, and that first stop sign where New Mexico Avenue is, and the other side is the Senior Citizens Center. Those have really big ones as well. So you've got to drive with a lot of caution. I don't know if anybody else has any, requests or any other areas that they might see in the community.
Thank you so much for your input on those streets. So definitely make sure that we provide them, make them aware of the areas that. Did you have any other questions or input that you'd like to provide?
I think I've just, given you some thoughts, maybe even Porter.
I'm sorry, even what?
On Porter Street.
Porter?
That's another area off of Project. I'm not sure if I was interjecting with something. Can you guys hear me?
No, you're fine.
On Porter, we also have UCF Elementary School, and that goes down as well. That street is either, and I don't know if it's because it's a runoff also, you know, where the water probably just runs downhill. I'm advocating, okay, so I'm just, those two, you know, I think that would be another area to look at. I know that we have two other schools that are on New Mexico Avenue, and New Mexico Avenue is in good shape, you know. But if you tried to get, if you had to take your kids to kindergarten school, you know, or pre-K, and then there's also a charter school out there, you know, you know, I think that Porter should, you know, could be looked at as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your input. We'll make sure that we put this towards the council, and what'll happen is that they'll look at the areas. We need to make sure that if the council decides to determine to go after one of these projects that you've listed, then they'll have to do a low to moderate income survey within the area to see if it's eligible to be able to qualify for the funding for CDBG. So that kind of constrains the city with going after some of these streets. But we'll definitely take a look at what projects are out there and provide those to the council as recommendations. And the council will make that determination at the meeting, I believe, in March, to select a project to move forward with CDBG funding.
Awesome. And the majority of our school district is low income. So our district qualifies a lot for federal programs just because of all our schools are situated here on the west side. Okay. So the tax base is lower, of course, but so I think that would be an advantage to the proposal, you know, to list that, the demographics.
Absolutely. Do we have any other citizen input? Looks like
Lisa, this is Maria.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if I can speak on behalf of customers that have called us about certain roadways, or if I can't do that.
Yeah, you're able to do that. That's fine.
Okay. So I have received comments from customers that they are concerned with 8th Street, the need for improvements. Lisa, can you mute yourself? The need for improvements on 8th Street, and I agree with I believe her name is Miss Minus. North Gonzales has a lot of tore up roadway due to some water, groundwater impacting the roadway there. So that area is all tore up, which leads to, I think it's what road crosses over to Hot Springs that also has issues. There's a couple of those crossroads, and then Hot Springs as well. San Miguel, Hot Springs, North Gonzales, 8th Street, and I believe Legion have been mentioned by customers as where they're getting some pretty rough rides. Thank you.
If I may intervene, also on that intersection on Bridge and 11th, you know, if you're turning right, going onto 11th, which is, I think, what's that Skillet and that tire shop or whatever that is, that's also like a hard intersection to be at. Okay, it's not a smooth transition there. You've got to go very slow. I don't know if you all know which one I'm talking about. It's a street light.
It is a city, is that area a city, city light, or is it state? Do you know where you are, Danny?
It is a city light. It's on 12th Street. 12th and National.
Okay, I have it listed.
How about the university? Does anybody go through there? I hardly ever do. I know they have a lot of speed bumps that if you're trying to get to the football field, you know, if you're still on Bridge, like I say, I travel that one quite a bit just because I work right on Bridge. But how about that area? Does anybody go down that way? I'm advocating, I guess, for the schools, right? I'm hitting all of them. You know what I mean?
So you said University on Bridge?
It's on National.
It's national. And then if you take a left, that's if you're going to probably the football field. And then you take a right. And I'm not sure if it's like if you're going to that ECC. It used to be called Mora Avenue School. Okay, it's right by Melody Park. How about that road? Does anybody travel that road? I haven't in a long time, but I do remember that it was kind of rough.
I think that belongs to the school.
Great, wonderful. That's a lot.
That construction that's going on by Operate, who's doing that? Is that the cities? There's something going on there too. I don't know if that's an extension of, I don't know what that street is. Um, it's right off the side of that little Saigon and in front of Super 8. There's a construction going on there, and I'm not sure if it's the city that's working on all that. There's some type of street. I don't know. I don't know who's working on it, but does that belong to the city or is that the state?
Yeah, that's a city project that they're repairing the roads.
Okay, well, there's a lot of input. I really appreciate it, Ms. Minus. If we don't have any other input, well, we'll go ahead and adjourn. And then,
Excuse me, Ms. Campbell. I'm
yes.
sorry. I saw that you typed here on the side. You put Moreno slash. It's El Creston Circle. Okay. It would be EL space, backspace, EL space CRESTON circle. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, I want to thank everybody again. Appreciate the input, and we'll go ahead and adjourn our meeting. And I will talk to you guys again at 6 o'clock this evening.
Neva had her hand up.
Oh, Neva, sorry. Did you need something, Neva?
Oh, Lisa, I was just going to North Gonzalez. When she was talking, it's North Gonzalez on number 7, third line down, North Gonzalez. North Gonzalez.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we will go ahead and adjourn. And again, I appreciate everyone's time. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.